You keep trying to silence your mind, but maybe it's not your thoughts that need calming. Maybe it's the part of you that was never held when it needed to cry. Pause. This video isn't to fix you. It's to show you you were never broken. Worry dies in the light of impermanence. Close your eyes and picture this gently. You're sitting alone, maybe on your bed or near a window, and a single snowflake falls into your open palm. You don't move. You don't even breathe too loudly. You just hold it. You want to keep it, preserve it, not let it go. Because it's delicate, it's beautiful. It feels like the only still moment you've had all day. But even in your stillness, even in your silence, that snowflake begins to melt. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's not your fault. You didn't hold it wrong. You didn't make a mistake. It was never meant to stay. That's how life works. That's how thoughts work. That's how pain works. But your mind, it doesn't want to accept that. It wants to grasp and hold and replay. It keeps telling you, this is important. This is urgent. This feeling means something deep. This thought needs to be solved now. But here's what the mind doesn't tell you. Most of what you're worrying about doesn't need to be held on to. It just needs to pass through you, like the snowflake, like the wind, like a wave that rises, crashes, and disappears into stillness again. You see, worry always feels permanent while you're in it. It takes over your body, tightens your chest, puts noise in your ears, and makes the future look blurry and scary. But it's not the future that's scary. It's the stories your mind keeps writing without your permission. You keep playing out conversations that haven't even happened. You keep trying to predict every outcome so you never get hurt again. But that's not living. That's surviving a life that hasn't even touched you yet. Most people don't realize this. You're not just afraid of what's happening. You're afraid it will never end. That this feeling, this tension, this pressure in your head and your heart will stay forever. But nothing stays. That's the quiet truth that heals everything. Impermanence. Everything is passing through. Every thought, every ache, every worry, every version of you that's ever cried, broken down, felt like giving up. Even that version fades. You don't need to fight your thoughts. You don't need to argue with your emotions. You don't even need to label them. You just need to see them, like watching a storm pass through a glass window. You can feel the thunder, but you are not inside the storm. Let the thoughts come. Let the fear whisper. But do not hand it the microphone. Do not give it your attention, your energy, your identity. Because the more you follow it, the more it grows. The more you feed it, the more it stays. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you breathe and whisper, I see you, but I won't chase you, the spell breaks. It's not that fear disappears in a snap. It's that it loses its power when you stop giving it your whole sky. Remember, the snowflake in your palm melted even when you were gentle, because it wasn't meant to be held forever. Neither is the pain, neither is the fear, neither is this version of you that feels like it's drowning. Sometimes healing doesn't come by doing more, it comes by doing less. Less holding, less gripping, less replaying the pain, less expecting yourself to always be okay. You are allowed to feel messy. You are allowed to not know what's next. But in the middle of all that uncertainty, you are still allowed to breathe, to exhale, to sit in the silence, and trust that this moment, too, is passing. Not everything you feel is a warning. Not everything your mind says is the truth. And not everything that hurts needs to be healed tonight. Maybe it just needs to be held. Not tightly, but lightly, softly. Like that snowflake, watched, respected, and gently released. So take one more breath. You don't have to let go all at once. You just have to loosen your grip, just a little, just enough to remind yourself that this storm is not your forever. This is only one page in your story, and it's already turning. You are not your worry. You are not your pain. You are the space that holds it all and still finds peace in between the waves. Tonight, let it melt. Let it pass. Let your soul exhale. You're not behind in life. You're not broken. You're just human, learning how to hold pain. A little lighter this time. The empty boat. Nothing is really aimed at you. There's an old story, a quiet Zen parable that doesn't shout but changes the way your heart receives the world. A man is rowing across a river. It's foggy, still, the kind of still that makes you think deeply, and as he glides gently through the water, he sees a boat coming toward him. He waves. He calls out, "Be careful!" But the boat keeps drifting, and finally, bang! It crashes into his. The man erupts in anger. "Who do you think you are? What are you doing? Are you blind?" But then he looks closer. There's no one in the boat. It's empty. Just a hollow, drifting thing, moved by wind and current, not intention. And in that moment, his anger disappears, because now he knows no one meant to hit him. There was no attack, no enemy, no target. It was just an empty boat, and that is the story of most pain in your life. It wasn't personal. It wasn't meant to break you. It wasn't about you at all. That person who said something cruel was carrying their own pain. That silence you received from someone you loved was their fear, not your fault. That betrayal was born from their brokenness, not your worth. But your mind, your beautiful, overthinking, sensitive mind, turned it into an arrow. You pulled it from your chest and said, "This was aimed at me." But what if it wasn't? What if that argument was never about you? What if their distance was their wound, not your rejection? What if that rude comment was a reflection of their day, not your value? And what if you've been carrying the pain of an empty boat your entire life? So many of us were taught to take everything personally, to assume blame, to absorb emotions that didn't belong to us, to believe that if someone is cold, it's because we weren't warm enough. But maybe you were never the reason. Maybe you were just nearby. When their storm arrived, maybe you were the nearest shore. When their waves broke loose, and now you live inside their chaos, as if you caused it. But you didn't. And you don't have to keep rowing in shame. You don't have to keep defending yourself from boats that don't even have captains. You don't have to keep bleeding from wounds that were never aimed. This lesson isn't about ignoring pain. It's about seeing it clearly. It's about realizing that the world is full of drifting boats, people moving through life, with their own heartbreak, their own losses, their own mistakes, and sometimes they bump into you. But that doesn't mean you're to blame. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're not enough. It means you're human. It means life is chaotic. It means you were there when their boat came through. So instead of shouting, instead of overanalyzing, and instead of rewriting the moment 100 times in your head, trying to figure out what you could have said or should have done, breathe. Look at the moment again. Really look. You might realize that boat was empty. It doesn't excuse the pain, but it explains it. And explanation is the beginning of freedom. Because once you realize that most things aren't aimed, you stop trying to catch arrows that were never shot. You stop turning every silence into rejection. You stop turning every delay into punishment. You stop turning every human into a reflection of your self-worth. You begin to see clearly. You stop shouting at the river for being wild. You stop blaming the wind for blowing. You stop trying to control the currents of other people's lives. You start returning to your own boat. You start protecting your peace, You start saying, I will not carry this anymore. Because healing is not always about fixing what's broken. Sometimes it's about finally setting down what was never yours to hold in the first place. Not every blow was personal. Not every scar was proof of your failure. Some were just the result of life moving the way it moves. Fast, blind, messy, beautiful. And now, with this truth, you don't have to stay angry. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to keep rowing in circles, trying to find the person who hurt you. Maybe there was no one there. Maybe there never was. Just a moment. Just a crash. Just an empty boat. Passing through. Let it go now. You've carried enough. Befriend the shaky heart instead of silencing it. Somewhere deep inside you, there's a voice you keep trying to silence. It doesn't shout. It trembles. It whispers your name in moments when everything feels quiet, but nothing feels calm. It rises when you're alone, when you're lying in bed and the world is asleep, when the noise dies down, and suddenly you hear yourself again. But instead of listening, you brace, you tighten, you distract, you scroll or overthink or stay busy, because hearing that shaky voice makes you feel weak. That's what you were taught, right? That fear is a flaw, that crying means you've lost control, that if your heart beats too fast or your voice cracks, you're not strong enough yet. But that's not true. What if the fear you keep trying to silence isn't trying to break you, but trying to speak to you? What if that ache in your chest isn't a malfunction, but a message? What if your anxiety isn't the enemy, but a part of you that's been begging to be heard? You see, the shaky heart is not something to fight. It's a child, a scared one you left behind somewhere in a moment of pain when you were told to toughen up or get over it. And now it returns, over and over again, not because it wants to ruin your peace, but because it wants to return to it. But every time it comes close, you lock the door, you distract, you numb, you say, not now. I can't feel this. I don't want to deal with you. But the truth is, that shaky version of you doesn't need a solution. It just needs to be seen and held and listened to gently. Imagine sitting across from that part of you, the one who's afraid, the one who gets nervous for no reason, the one who replays conversations in their head at 2 a.m., the one who overthinks every word just to make sure they didn't push someone away, the one who trembles not because they're weak, but because they feel deeply. What would happen if, instead of fixing them, you poured them a cup of tea? What if, instead of forcing calm, you made space for the chaos to breathe? You see, you've tried everything else. You've tried ignoring it, distracting from it, shoving it down so deeply it starts leaking through your skin, and still, it finds its way back. Because the shaky heart doesn't disappear when silenced. It disappears when it's finally understood. It wants you to ask, what do you need? Where does it hurt? What were you never allowed to say out loud? It wants you to stop treating it like a problem. It wants to be part of your healing, not something you have to heal from, because real strength isn't pretending you feel nothing. It's being able to sit in the storm and say, I'm not afraid to feel this. Real growth isn't becoming unshakable. It's learning how to stay grounded. Even while you shake, you are not broken for feeling anxious. You are not behind for needing rest. You are not less valuable on the days when your courage feels more like a whisper than a roar. And the part of you that shakes, that worries, that spirals, it's not a flaw. It's a part of you that loved deeply and maybe wasn't loved back the same. It's a part of you that tried hard and maybe still failed. It's a part of you that was never comforted when life got loud, and so it became loud inside you instead. Now it returns, not for punishment, but for peace. And your job is not to chase it away, Your job is to welcome it home. So when it rises again, when your chest tightens, when your hands tremble, when your stomach sinks, don't say, "Not again." Say, "I see you. I hear you. I'm not running anymore." Sit with it. Hold it. Speak to it like it's the child version of you, the one who just wanted to be told, "You're safe now." Because you are. You're no longer in that place where it all started. You're no longer the person who had no tools. You're wiser now, softer now, and brave enough to stay. You don't need to fix the shaky heart. You need to love it back into rhythm. And when you do, you'll notice something surprising. The fear doesn't scream as loudly. The anxiety doesn't last as long. The spiral loses its grip, because nothing heals faster than something that finally feels safe to be seen. Tonight, if that part of you rises again, don't fight it. Befriend it. Say what no one said to you before. It's okay to feel this. I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere. Then breathe, slow, soft, present, and let your shaky heart know. It doesn't have to hold it all anymore. You've got it now. And this time, you're not letting go. Watch thoughts erode in real time. There's a moment, right before your mind takes over, where you still have a choice. But you don't always see it, because the thought arrives quickly, like a whisper in the dark, like a spark in a dry forest. One worry becomes two, two becomes 20. And soon, you're drowning. You didn't mean to fall into it. You didn't invite the storm, but now it feels like you're already lost in it, and your mind says, "Fix it. Think more. Solve it before it breaks you." But what if you didn't fix it? What if you didn't fight it? What if you just watched it, like clouds passing through the sky? This is the quiet secret most never discover. That thoughts are not facts. They are not instructions. They are not commands. They are just visitors. They come, they stay a while, and if you don't feed them, they leave. That's Nirodha, the ending of a thought, not by force, but by awareness. You don't have to do anything for it to happen. Just see it, label it, and let it pass. Try this. The next time your mind says, "What if it all goes wrong?" or "You're not enough," don't argue. Don't answer back. Just softly say, "That's a thought." And then watch it. Watch what it does without your energy. Watch how it flickers. Watch how it hesitates. Watch how it begins to dissolve. Not every thought is a fire. Most are just smoke. They look dangerous. They feel urgent. But when you stop adding fuel, they fade on their own. The problem is, we feed the fire by believing it, by chasing it, by wrapping it in meaning, by letting it hijack our emotions. But in the pure space of awareness, even the loudest thought has no ground to stand on. It begins to erode, like writing on wet sand, like chalk in the rain, like a voice fading into stillness, because your attention is the battery that powers the noise. Take away the charge, and the noise has nowhere to go. That's the beauty of Nirodha. You don't need to resist. You don't need to push. You don't need to fix. You only need to see. Sit back, breathe once, and instead of becoming the thought, become the one who watches it. No judgment, no fear, just soft, open space. You'll begin to notice that thoughts come in patterns. They repeat, they loop, but they're not creative. They're just echoes of the same wound. And the moment you stop answering the echo, it dies. Even panic loses power. When it's not given a voice, even fear loses grip. When it's held in quiet awareness, even shame has no anchor if you just breathe through it. This is what it means to let a thought erode, not by drowning it, but by observing it, by shining such soft light on it that it forgets how to stay. You are not your mind's content. You are not the noise. You are not the waves. You are the shore it crashes against. You are the silence underneath. You are the watcher, and watchers do not drown. So when it comes, the next anxious loop, the next fearful memory, the next sudden what if that grips your chest, don't run, don't fight, don't react. Breathe in, breathe out, and say, this is a wave. It is rising. It will fall. And I will still be here. And then sit in that stillness, even if it's just for 10 seconds. Even if your mind is loud, let your awareness be louder, because that awareness, that quiet space where you don't chase or fear, is stronger than any thought. It's older, deeper, untouchable. That space ... is where peace lives. You don't need to escape your thoughts. You just need to watch them pass, like birds across a sky. That never changes. They come, they go, but you remain still, clear, free. Plant today as a gift for tomorrow. Sometimes we ask, when will peace come to me? When will my life finally feel calm, clear, and safe? But maybe peace isn't something that arrives all at once. Maybe it grows slowly, silently, unseen beneath the surface, like a tree that starts with one seed buried in the dirt. And maybe you're not meant to wait for peace. Maybe you're meant to plant it right now. Even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when your own life feels like a storm. You see, karma is not punishment. It's not a scoreboard. It's not a system of reward and revenge. Karma is cause and effect, energy in motion, a whisper that echoes beyond the moment. Every action, every word, every silent choice ripples into the future. And sometimes the smallest things you do today become the loudest blessings tomorrow. So tonight, instead of obsessing over a future you can't predict, instead of worrying about the outcome you can't control, do something small, something gentle, something sacred. Hold the door for someone. Send a message of forgiveness. Leave kindness in a place where no one knows it was you. Pick up what others left behind. Water a plant. Whisper a prayer for someone who hurt you. Smile, genuinely, at a stranger who looks like they forgot what kindness feels like. These are the seeds. You may not see their fruit right away. You may forget where you planted them, but the world remembers. Allah remembers. The universe holds every drop of intention, and it grows when you least expect it. Sometimes your future self will walk into a garden of peace, built entirely on the kindness you gave when you felt most broken. Because true karma is not about keeping score. It's about becoming the kind of soul that keeps sowing light. Even in dark places, when you do something good but no one claps, when you choose to forgive but no one apologizes, when you stay kind but no one notices. That's the most powerful karma, because that's when your actions are pure. That's when you're planting without needing a harvest. That's when you're loving without needing applause. And in that moment, you rise above the world. You stop being controlled by outcomes, people, or praise. You begin living from your soul, not your ego. You want to heal? Start here. Start with the one thing you can control, what you put into this moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, not after the pain goes away. Now, what energy are you putting into this moment? Resentment, fear, regret? Or are you quietly planting something different? Hope, stillness, patience, compassion. Because you're not just shaping your day, you're shaping your destiny. And peace doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who plant it. Not with speeches, not with grand gestures, but with small invisible kindnesses that cost nothing, but change everything. And when the storm comes, and it will, you'll find shelter in the very trees you once planted. the strength you gave to others, will echo back to you. The mercy you showed will return when you need it most. The silence you endured with dignity will turn into blessings whispered behind the veil. This is karma. This is how the soul shapes its world. Not with fear, but with intention. So tonight, don't wait for peace. Plant it. One small action, one small prayer, one small mercy, even if it's only for yourself. Be kind. Not because life is perfect, but because your soul deserves to live gently, regardless of what the world looks like. And remember, some of the most powerful seeds are planted with tears in your eyes, and no one watching but heaven sees, and your future self will thank you. You've made it to this moment, and maybe you don't even know how. Maybe tonight you're not looking for more wisdom. Maybe you're not even looking for answers. You're just tired. You're just trying to breathe. You're just hoping someone somewhere understands. So let this be for you, not a solution, not a lecture, not even a lesson, just a quiet space where your soul can rest. You've spent so much of your life trying to hold it all together, smiling when you wanted to scream, nodding when your chest was breaking open, being strong when all you really needed was a soft place to fall, but you never found it. So you became it, for everyone else, for the world, for people who never noticed how much of yourself you were burning just to keep them warm. And now here you are, alone, maybe, silent, still carrying the pieces of everything you never said, still apologizing in your mind for being the one who feels everything too deeply. But maybe this is where the healing starts. Not with another strategy, not with another how to fix yourself plan, but with the truth that you were never broken. You were just tired of pretending to be okay in a world that moves too fast for gentle hearts. And now you're exhausted, not just in your body, but in your spirit. The kind of exhaustion that sleep can't fix. The kind that comes from carrying invisible weights for far too long. So tonight, you don't need to push anymore. You don't need to try harder. You don't need to figure it all out. You are not a puzzle to be solved. You are a soul, and your soul is aching for rest. Let go, not in a dramatic way, not in a loud collapse. Just slowly, like loosening your grip on a rope you didn't even realize was cutting into your hand. Let go of the thoughts. Let go of the pressure. Let go of needing to have a reason for how you feel. Let it all melt, like ice in warm water. Let yourself fall into the soft truth that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to have no words. It's okay to feel heavy. It's okay to cry for no reason. And it's okay to feel nothing at all. This is not the end of your story. This is just the page where you rest your eyes. Before you begin again, there is nothing wrong with you. You are not behind. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not too sensitive. You are not a burden. You are not too much. You are just human. And being human means sometimes you break. And sometimes you rebuild quietly in the dark without anyone even noticing. But heaven notices. There are angels recording every silent tear, every quiet act of kindness you gave when you had nothing left, every time you chose peace instead of revenge, every time you forgave someone who never said sorry, every time you got back up when you didn't even want to live anymore. You've already won so many invisible battles. You've already healed in places people will never see. So don't you dare think you failed just because no one clapped. You're still here. And that is proof enough that something in you refuses to give up. That something in you, the part that keeps whispering, keep going, even when everything else falls silent. That's your soul. And your soul is stronger than any thought you've ever had. Tonight, you don't need to chase enlightenment. You don't need to become anything. You just need to remember what you already are. a soul made of light, a heart that was never meant to harden, a spirit that bends but does not break. Let heaven carry what you can't tonight. Let the sky hold your fear. Let the silence soak up your pain. You've done enough for now. You've earned rest. You've earned peace. You've earned a moment where you don't have to be the strong one. So curl up slowly, wrap yourself in stillness, and let your next breath be the first in a long time. That doesn't come with panic or guilt or shame. Just breath, clean, quiet, and yours. The world can wait. Tomorrow will come. But tonight is for you. No fixing, no proving, no pretending, just stillness, just peace, just being. And if no one else has told you this lately, I'm proud of you. Not for what you've done, but for how gently you've survived. You are allowed to rest now. The storm is over. And even if it returns tomorrow, you now know where the calm lives. Right here, inside you, always.